Okay, for this next section, I'm back in the Azure portal and I'm inside my Vision Lab resource group. So you can see up here under this little breadcrumb, I'm in the resource groups and I'm into the Vision Lab. We can see the two resources that were previously deployed, the cognitive service and the Cosmos DB account. So the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead and deploy a logic app. And that's going to be really the heart of everything that we're doing. That's going to control the whole process and be really the kind of orchestration of the entire workflow, which is going to involve getting tweets from Twitter, messages from Twitter, and processing them with cognitive services for analysis, and then storing the results back in the Cosmos DB. So it's going to be controlling that whole workflow. In order to create a logic app, just as before, we click on Create Resource up here in the top left. Logic apps live under integration. I mean, we could use the search feature here, but I happen to know where logic apps live, and that's under integration. So logic app is the top option in this section. Let's just go and create a new logic app. So we want to give our logic app a name. So let's call it Vision App. The name doesn't have to be unique, unlike the Cosmos DB account. Subscription we'll leave alone. We're going to put it into existing resource group and use the same resource group and putting everything else into the Vision Lab. Location should be left as North Europe, and we don't need log analytics, so we can leave that off. So we can go ahead and click Create, and Azure will take a few seconds to go ahead and provision that new resource and that new logic app for us. There we go. That was very quick. So we can click Go to Resource, drill into that. Now what's going to happen is Azure's detected that we have an empty logic app. There's no flow there, so it takes us straight into the logic apps designer. So it's kind of shortcutted the front screen and put us straight into the designer. So we'll be doing this a lot in this lab, jumping between this designer view and the sort of main management page for the particular logic app. So there's various templates we can use to get started. We could start with a blank one. There's actually quite a useful one we're going to kick things off with, which is this when a new tweet is posted. So that's under this common trigger section. So we want to click on that when a new tweet is posted. That's going to be our starting template. So it's created this initial logic app with a single trigger, which is based on Twitter. Now we need to authenticate this connection so that it knows how to get the data from Twitter. So we can click sign in, and let's go ahead, it's going to pop up a window to authenticate us against Twitter. So it's fine to use your own Twitter account. If you don't have a Twitter account, it's probably worth setting one up. You can just set up a test one or a dummy one. If you're doing this in a lab or a workshop being guided by someone else, they may provide you a test Twitter account to use, but it's perfectly safe to go ahead and use your own Twitter account. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to use my Ben Code Geek. It's my own personal Twitter account. Feel free to follow me if you're interested in cloud stuff, Azure and DevOps. And I go ahead and enter my password and authorize the app. So back in the Logic app now we can see the Logic app's connected to Twitter using my account. So now we can click on continue, and it's going to give us some search text. So we need to search Azure for a particular phrase or hashtag that we're going to process. Now we need to be careful what we pick here because everything that we pick is going to be analyzed by cognitive services and stored in our database. So if we pick a very common word, we're going to process a lot of tweets, store a lot of data, and it's going to incur potentially some costs on our subscription. So we're going to pick a hashtag that we're going to use for this particular lab. Let's pick Azure Vision Lab, which it's unlikely anyone's tweeting very much about at the this particular point in time. So that's going to be our hashtag that we're going to use. It might be worth putting that in our notepad because we're going to be using that when we're going to be testing this. So we come back to our notes here and we put Azure Vision Lab in there just so we can use it for safekeeping. So the next thing we need to do is that's our trigger, that's our kind of input to our workflow. The next thing is what we're going to do when those tweets are posted. So when we click here and we click Add Action, and this is where Logic Apps will prompt us through the process of selecting connectors and actions in those connectors. So we want to use to describe what the image is in the particular tweet. We're going to be tweeting with pictures attached. So if I search for describe in this box here and enter the word describe, we can see that the computer vision API is a connector that can do that for us. And there's several options of actions down here. The one you need to pick is describe image URL. Currently says preview under it. That may leave preview at some point. But yeah, describe image URL is the action that we need. We click on that. It wants to know some details about our computer vision API account. So we need to give this a connection name. This can be anything, but let's just call it Vision API. And we need the account key. So if you remember in that notepad, we made notes of some details and a text file, and we have the Vision API key. So let's select that. Make sure you don't use the Cosmos DB key by mistake. Make sure you use the Vision key, the cognitive service key, paste that in there. We'll also need the URL, so we can select that from our notepad and paste that into the site URL. So this is creating a connection from the Logic Apps to the cognitive service, the computer vision cognitive service. So with that connection set up, we need to give it a URL that we want to process. So where's this, an image, a URL of an image that we're going to process? Well, this is going to come from the tweets. So if we click in here, over on the right-hand side pops up a box to allow us to add additional content to our workflow. So we're going to take a previous step's output and use it as an input for this step. So in this case, we'll select Media URLs item. So this under the Twitter section. So this is any of the tweets that we get processed with that particular hashtag. Go and get all of the media URLs, the images or photos are attached to those tweets. As soon as we click on that, what will happen is we'll pop up and realize, well, this is actually a list. So each tweet can have multiple URLs. So it's created a for each loop for us around it. So it's actually telling us this here. So we click OK. Dismiss that little pop-up saying, I've created a for loop for you. And we can see we've already got this populated in here. So it's going to loop over the media URLs and call the describe image API with each item in that loop. So we can stop there and we want to be able to test what we're doing. So let's go ahead and click on save. Our Logic app's been saved and we want to return to the main page of our Logic app. So the easiest way to do that is click this close icon up in the top right. The designer is closed and we're taken to the main page of the Logic app here.